This is Radio Now 95.3 FM.
A statement by the Tribunal Secretary Muazu Bagudu informed the parties of this decision. The tribunal was interrupted some 3 weeks ago by thugs who fired gunshots, forcing the adjournment of proceedings. And while the Petition Tribunal has since resumed and had one sitting or two sittings in Benin City, it has now come out that it will be moving to Abuja for further continuance. Now, on the conversation this morning, we will be joined by Mr. Anthony Ehilebo, who is a member of the People's Democratic Party. He joins us in just a moment. In Lagos, Nigeria, we ask that you stay tuned for this conversation. Mr. Ehilebo, good morning, and thank you for joining us on the conversation. All right, we're going to reconnect with Mr. Ehilebo in just a moment, but just to reiterate the conversation, the Elections Petition Tribunal has been moved from Benin City to Edo State following its disruptions some 3 weeks ago. Mr. Ehilebo, good morning, and thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Good morning, Stephen. Good morning to your audience, wherever they are. Hope they're having a beautiful week.
It's our pleasure to have you. Sir, I wonder if you can speak to us about this particular move. When this news broke, there was no indication or no explanation for why the tribunal was being moved to Abuja. Can you give us a sense of what this is?
Stephen, I'm surprised they said there was no indication of the move. For a while now, been all over the news, videos, complaints. I think I've been on several mediums talking about the way APC and its many talks have kept us in constant trepidation. Lawyers are worried, threatened our witnesses, so I'm really surprised because it was coming. I even really commend the judges for continuing sitting with such tension. I was in the court in Benin. I was in the tribunal. I think at that time we were at the State High Court, the new building. From the first day, we were greeted. Well, the police attempted to provide some level of security at the early stage. But you had these guys coming to court with dogs, and so the PDP decided to provide private security because we're seeing instances where the police, and in fact, if you look at all the videos, people would be harassed, and the police would even tell those people being harassed to run. Not you know how to run. And I raised some of these concerns on social media and tagged the Nigerian police, and also made frantic calls to them, and they had gotten a lot of bashing from people that why would they allow this to continue to happen. So there was an altercation at some point. They came in and said, they didn't want to see the private security, who had been non-interference directed by my principal and other people who had engaged them. And they were just there to provide security for our lawyers and the evidence we were taking to court. Because I think what agitated them was when it dawned on them that we had a plethora of evidence. In fact, we had 1,004 exhibits, which we tendered and has now been admitted. At that time, we had to even form a body ring around our evidence bag because they had become very interested in that evidence bag, and at some point, information got to us that they were going to do a do or die and grab that evidence bag and run. So we protected it all through. And after they had the altercation with the bouncers, we decided to step those ones down and requested for additional security from the police, the DSS, which we got, and thankfully we did. But the next day, they went after the police because the police were protecting the witnesses who were in the force. And you could see videos of their thugs. These thugs, we know them. They're led by three key individuals. The chairman or the acting chairman of the APC in Edo State, Emperor Jared Senebe. He usually led this onslaught. And then you had two of his thugs, namely one Kelly Okumboa, aka Ebo Stone, who is the chief enforcer of the state, was the one the governor used to keep harassing people, which is quite surprising that a governor that has not even yet been confirmed by the court, is still in court, constantly using thugs to intimidate, harass, and cause trepidation across the state.
So,
and then you had a self-confessed cultist, or a BBC documentary, confessed cultist Tony Adu, aka Tony Kabaka, as well. And you will see them in this. The videos replete online. You will see them consistently after the police. The next day, they went after the GSF. And then it came to a head. And at an interview, I said, is it the judges that are next? Because you've gone through the whole gamut of the Nigerian Security Agency architecture or setup. And now it just seemed to us that there was no lesson. And we complained, I raised these issues on national TV. In fact, a day before our witnesses were due to go to court, I was on a News Central morning show with Jared Tenebe, and blatantly, right there on TV, he said there was a police officer that was killed sometime in June. We don't know the circumstances, but that he was coming to court to arrest our witnesses. That if the police cannot handle, he said it live. There was
so, Mr. Ilebo, if I may, I'm glad you've raised Mr. Tenebe here because, he's alleging, along with the APC, they're saying that, look, first off, the reason why the tribunal has been moved to Abuja is because of a breach to security, essentially, implying that the PDP has breached security because he did mention the private security that was brought in, and he claims that it was to intimidate their supporters during tribunal sessions. So this is the statement and this is their stance. What's your reaction to it?
There's no, Tenebe had once said on TV that the deputy governor stole his resource. That was then the then deputy governor, as well, deputy governor Philip Shaibu. Derek Tenebe, right now, he's being served. I think he has 2 defamation and slander cases, one by Asue Godalo and the other by the PDP chairman, where he blatantly made a comment that Asue Godalo only knows how to pronounce billions because he steals billions. He makes such outlandish and really degenerative, I would say very delinquent statements that I wonder often. But anyway, it's typical character of the kind of people APC want to foster upon Nigeria, because in a sane society, a man like that would not be allowed near a public office. You see, the private security were there for the first 2 days because we had seen the police look away when things were being done to other individuals that concerns the APC. And they were immediately, the issue was raised in court and it cost a kerfuffle. We took the proactive step of stopping them from going to court. But you know what they did the next day? There are videos everywhere. The next day they were attacking the police. When they finished with that session that day, the next day they came back and attacked the DSS. So if it was the security, are they leaving where the entire discomfort of the tribunal was caused, and really the indicative cause was because of the actions, the negative actions of the PDP and the APC and its thugs.
So let me quickly ask you this on that matter. Is this something that the PDP will take up formally with the police, whether the police command in Edo or will it be with police force headquarters in Abuja? Will you be filing a formal complaint?
There's several complaints against Derek Kennedy. There's a young man called Fares. Fares was a DDG during the campaign. Fares made a post just telling people on Facebook what's going on. And Tenebe, using his own handle without putting words, said to him, "I will kill you." Those were his words. Perez has since petitioned Nigerian police force, and they said to shame that they invited Jarrett and he refused the invitation. Jarrett Tenebe and Tony Kabaka and Ibo Stone invaded in an ongoing, within the context of an ongoing tribunal, invaded the PDP secretariat along Airport Road.
Right. And
there was a policeman there. And do you know what they told the Deputy Commissioner of Police? He told him that nobody can move him out. This was filmed live. It was aired on almost every station. Everyone with a little bit of grey matter in their head knows that the process for evicting or taking over a property is that you go to court, you get a valid court judgment, then you go to the same court, the bailiff section of the same court, and you invoke the bailiff right, citing that judgment that has been given by a court, a judge, whether a magistrate judge or a state high court judge or a federal high court judge. So go to that property, or if the case has even gone through the pains of the court system of getting to maybe the Supreme Court, getting that judgment, and the bailiff will apply. That bailiff will still apply to the registrar that this is what they said, and the registrar will approve. Before that bailiff goes not with the normal police, with the police attached to the bailiff's office. Those are the only people that can go into a property. That is the process of getting a property. But this man resorted to self-help. He invaded an office that was in occupation. Stole things from that office. He denigrated the chairman, or the state chairman of PDP. You could see that it was the speaker that came to rescue him. And then we're all saying, I don't know how we're still having this conversation. Maybe just because we want to sit on the side of let's play the devil's advocate. But it is clear. It is very, very clear who the aggressor or the consistent aggressor. Let me tell you guys something. When we decided to approach the tribunal, we needed to get a report of the beavers and some documentation from INEC office in Benin. These same individuals took thugs around, the office is around somewhere called Abuja. They took about 200 thugs to that place. They camped there for the 2 weeks we were trying to get evidence. Jarrett Tenebe employed every trick in the book to make sure that we did not inspect that beaver, from fictitious petitions to causing problems in INEC office to the thugs harassing our forensic data analysts, our forensic analysts that came there to inspect the beavers. But we were one step ahead of them and just continue to play and go along with them at the INEC office. To the extent that the last day to submit the petition, which they thought they had frustrated us at INEC office, was on a Saturday. They went and barricaded the court premises so that we would not submit that petition. These are people who claim they won the election. Allow us to ventilate in the court if you think you won.
Right.
You know what happened? We had submitted, but they were, like I said, one step ahead of them. We submitted our petition on Friday and kept them busy in the Benin INEC office, thinking that but they didn't know we had a CCC of that beaver report. So that's just giving you an instance of how inclined to violence that these people are. We don't know. It's costing us more to come and plead our case in Abuja because we've had to move our lawyers from Benin. Imagine the logistic nightmare, the challenges of moving our lawyers from Benin to Abuja, accommodating them in hotels, moving our witnesses to Abuja.
Mr. Halebo,
logistic nightmare.
I can only empathize with the difficulties that you're facing in pursuing this particular case. And I would like to apologize for interrupting you, but we are running out of time. I'd like to thank you very much for speaking with us this morning and taking the time to explain what's going on in Edo State. Anthony Ehilebo is a member of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, and he joined us this morning to speak on the movement of the Edo State Elections Petition Tribunal, the relocation from Benin City, where it's been interrupted a few times, to Abuja. You're still on to Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos. In a few short moments, our conversations continue here on Now Breakfast. Do stay with us.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.